Gaming, welcome back from the intermission. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to get our next run going here momentarily. We've got Metroid Dread Mercury Steam percent glitchless with Rain BT. Go ahead and take it away. It's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I'm also joined by my couch, Bastion Blue.
Hello.
So before we start, let me explain the category because it is a category extension. It is different from the normal NMG Metroid run. The specific ruling that we want for Mercury Steam percent is glitchless, and specifically to get as many sequence intended break items as possible before certain points like flash, bombs, and grapple before crate. Oh, apparently there's an echo? Sequence intended break. Not sure which one to turn off for that. How about this? Is that still echoing? Yeah. Is it still echoing? Testing. Is it still echoing? Still echoing? Testing. Alright, apparently it's good. Alright, cool. Sorry about that. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna get as many sequence intended break items as much as possible. We're gonna try to explain not necessarily all the intricacies of the run, but it's gonna be moving very fast. So sorry if I'm gonna be like explaining things super quick.
Metroid Dread is a very fast game.
Yeah, so let me count down and then we'll start off. So on go, 3, 2, 1, go. So the normal movement that we have for this game is just, like we want to stay as grounded as much as possible. Ledge hopping, we want to try to avoid mantling or clamber, whatever you want to name it. And generally just want to be moving, as most games are. We're going to be using stuff like coyote jumps and melees. And this is going to be glitchless. So it's going to be, I wouldn't say the tricks are necessarily easier, but it will be more focused for movement.
Yeah, we will be focusing more on movement instead of like glitches and things like that. And because we're breaking so many sequences in the game, we're in for a wild ride. We're going to be doing a lot of things out of order than what you might see in something like a no major glitches category.
Yeah, for people who normally run NMG and other categories, this is going to be a very weird route because it's going to feel like we're backtracking specifically to backtrack, but it's backtracking with a purpose.
Yeah. It's going to look like, backtracking to a detour to get around to a detour to end up where you started.
It's very much, if you imagine the route, we're very much going forward, skipping ahead, and then running back to where we started the skip, essentially. So it's going to be like a line and then back and then forward again. It's going to be a very weird route, but because of the routing for this category, it allows to get flash shift and speed technically earlier and for longer in the route. So we get to do a lot more like cooler things with it.
Yeah, and some of those cooler things are just like really destroying some of the bosses.
Oh yeah, that's the benefit of this route, which I think is like probably the best beginner route to get into, because since we have so many more items than normal, we can basically just quick kill every boss, and the bosses aren't really an issue. So if you're getting into this game, this run is amazing because it's like completely focused on movement, and the tricks themselves has some leeway. I don't want to say like they're super easy. You'll see in one section, it's gonna look pretty tough.
Yeah, so this right here, so this right here is Adam. We will not be seeing him very much.
Yeah, once we get through halfway through Cataris, we're gonna be doing Adam skip, and then we'll never see him ever again. Which is amazing, because that's not really Adam. Spoiler alert.
So right here, Rain is going through an Emmy zone, and he's using a lot of speed tech to get through here. Just like sort of like quick grabbing the ledges and things, instead of like the more like slower grab where she pulls herself up off the ledge.
If you paid attention, I did break a blob there. Normally we don't, but that will come into play later, like halfway through the run, where it enables a pretty nifty speed tech. There's like 3 speed techs in that area. We'll get to that later. But that opens up not the fastest speed tech, but probably the easiest. So here, Bastion, we want to explain this part while I focus on this because I suck at it.
Yeah, so we're going through an Emmy zone here, and we're hoping that this Emmy spawns in a location that will help us out. And what Rain is doing... So Rain just had to counter there, and we want to avoid countering those enemies.
That trick actually just saves about, since it's that spawn, about 6 seconds. But I'm very bad at it. I reset to it a lot. But yeah, in NMG, it's not really a concern because we don't spawn the Emmy, but since this is glitchless, we have to do that. And you only get like 3 or 4 tries.
Yeah, and that was the water skip. It's sort of a triple frame perfect trick, so it's very difficult.
I won't say it's triple frame perfect, but oops, I forgot. But it is definitely trickier than it looks. But apparently the game is too loud over Bastion. But apparently, I mean, just all it really does is skip using the button.
Yeah, so right now Rain has a charge beam, and there's a lot of complicated charge beam tech that we have available to us to shoot faster, such as, shooting on jumps, like on spin jumps and everything. And if we shoot on spin jumps, we get an instant charge instead of like, standing around and just, just sort of like waiting for the charge to pop up.
Give me a sec. Apparently they can barely hear Bastion. Bastion, can you talk for a sec?
Yes, I'm here. I did turn my microphone up, so maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not sure.
Apparently Chica says it's fine. I'll believe it, and I just continue. So what we have right now is charge beam. Oh my god, this room. And we're just kind of opening doors, opening directions to go. We still have about 2 more items in this area.
Yeah.
And some nifty tricks.
Yeah, we're so Rain is activating the lava keys right now, and this opens up other areas of the game.
So specifically these lava doors. Yeah, there isn't much tricks for glitchless, obviously, because it's just movement, but there is still some pretty cool ones. Oops. So it's really only those lava doors. There isn't much we can do in terms of tricks and skips, even in like unrestricted and NMG, because all we really have is slide and melee. And we're kind of tapped out on what to do for that stuff.
So we're still being chased by the white enemy.
So here is where we finally get magnet. Basically, we just kill the white enemies. You're gonna see these brains a lot. There is one brain for each enemy. There's about, I think, 6 enemies. I don't remember the count. One's already dead. And these guys basically give us the Omega cannons, but specifically an Omega Stream, which is this, and the Omega Blaster. They are the only things that can kill the enemy or hurt them. I'm not entirely sure why.
And each enemy has a faceplate that we want to destroy before charging the Omega shot in order to destroy the enemy. And an interesting thing about the white enemy is that it actually has a larger faceplate than some of the rest of them.
Yeah, that faceplate actually matters because it can't go through more tunnels, unlike the rest. The rest have like smaller faceplate fins, if you will, and they can go through tunnels. You also have some weird animations where they like double back on themselves to turn around or go forward. It's very weird.
Yeah, so right now we just acquired Spider Magnet, which allows us to climb around on some of those blue-looking areas that we see on like walls and ceilings in the game. So it's sort of it's a very early, important, major mobility item. Just getting through parts of the game. Go ahead, Rain.
Yeah, fun fact that that vertical magnet door is the only vertical magnet door in the entire game.
Yeah, Rain actually beat me to saying it.
No. You want to explain this fight?
Oh, sure. So, this is our first major boss in the game. He has 3 different phases, and as you can see, Rain is just going right through these phases like nothing. And since we're playing on rookie mode, we have a little bit more resources available to us. So, because we have like more missiles than you might see in like normal mode, Rain is able to get through this boss fight a lot easier. And
yeah, in other categories we usually go in there with 15 missiles, especially on normal and hard. But since rookie gives an extra 15, it's a lot. It's a lot less stressful, to say the least.
Yeah. There's also something called the head glitch. If you use him at just the right time, he'll just sort of like freeze up and everything, and you can get some extra shots in.
Yeah, with that head glitch, it's a second round. I mean, 2-round Corpus is pretty much guaranteed.
So coming up here, there's a difficult trick that Rain has to pull off in this very complicated room. He is going to be jumping up and damage boost, and he gets it on the first try. Awesome.
It's definitely first learning it is definitely difficult, but once you understand how to fly his moves, you can pretty much flail around and eventually get it. But I have died there, and you can die there because it is damaging you. And the waypoint, the checkpoint that you get is all the way back at Corpus for glitchless. And NMG is even worse because the checkpoint you get is from White Emmy, which is even farther back. So dying there is not good.
Yeah, it's a huge time loss, and definitely a reset for most people. So right here we have just entered Cataris, which lore-wise, this is you know, a lot of major plot point in the storyline of the game. What happens here affects a lot of the game as a whole. You know, this is where the energy reactor is in the game, and it controls like the lava flow in the game, and you know, you have to turn it off and then you have to turn it on later. And we'll be coming through this area later, but it'll all be frozen over. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, fun fact about Cataris, apparently, I'm not the one who found out about this, apparently it's someone's cat named Eris, so they named this area, you know, after their cat.
So right here we have Rain pulling off a difficult jump called a pseudo-magnet jump, where Rain is basically just tricking the game into thinking that he grabbed the magnet wall. And he actually didn't. But he has a very difficult room coming up. It's definitely what we would call a hell run. He is taking damage every second coming through here.
No! Oh my god. That sucks. I messed up a lot of movement there. I'll just go below this time.
Alright. Yeah, it's a very incredibly difficult room. I mean, you're supposed to have a Varia suit, which, when you go through lava rooms like that, and Varia suit is what protects Samus from heat in most Metroid games, and because we are breaking the proper sequence of the game, we're going through an area where we don't have access to that suit yet, or we have, yeah.
Oh, I actually should go through there because it is faster. Well, no, I'm gonna go down. I don't want to take up too much time. That's been kind of sketchy, to be honest. It's been a while since I went through this. That room does matter though, because oops. Oh no! Don't do it.
So here we have the green Emmy, and you know, this is a very dangerous portion of the game for Rain. We want to avoid the Emmy, and Rain is trying to use very specific, very trained, practiced movement to specifically manipulate the Emmy into moving into certain directions, and speed is very critical going through this area.
Oh, you gave me the good spawn. Usually he's like down here.
And of course, the Emmys spawn in different areas, so you know, we have bad spawns and good spawns, and luckily we got a good spawn there.
Yeah, that plays a huge role later, specifically in the ice Emmy, because we manipulate that pretty heavily to give us the fastest kill for it. But right now, we're just still basically opening doors, and coming up is the most notorious trick of this.
Right. So Rain is about to attempt. You can actually see him there manipulating the camera to open a door early. But Rain is about to attempt something incredibly difficult called the Atom Skip. And this skip right here is this strat is very, very technical and very important, very critical. And very easy to mess up. It requires a quintuple frame perfect action here, and you can see Rain bouncing back and forth. These are 4 wall jumps followed by a timed melee attack into a respin. So what Rain is doing here is he's kind of going faster than the game registers around that timed melee respin. There we go, we got it. We got it. And so, yeah, he's basically going faster than what the game can keep up with there. But by doing this, we've actually saved a tremendous amount of time in preventing a lot of backtracking and roundabout directions and stuff, and you know, Metroid Dread is a very labyrinthine, very maze-like game, and if we did not do that, we would have to go around and around and around to try to get back there. But basically, by doing this right here, the Atom Skip, we've saved about 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes, somewhere around there.
So on a first try on that skip, luckily we could buffer most of it. On the first try, hopefully this works out. Don't touch me. Okay. On first try, we save a minute on backtracking alone through Catarus. But Adam works in a conga line of triggers, so to speak. So basically there was an atom in that backtrack that we skipped that basically all the other atoms are waiting for it to activate. And since it's never going to activate because we never go through that area ever, not even in Hundo. All the atoms don't talk to us anymore. And we don't want to talk to Adam because Adam doesn't tell us anything useful.
Right. Well, Adam is kind of rude, and he's a little condescending. So, I mean, why would you not want him to be quiet? So, we will never see Adam again. In fact, coming up here at some point, we will, pass by an Adam room, and, we'll all say hi, Adam, but he won't say hi back, and that's the way that we want it. So, right now we are taking a tram car to the third area in our travels that we're going to. And this area is called Dairon, and Dairon is where we're getting more items here in Dairon, like the wide beam, and you could sort of say that Dairon is sort of like the power reactor of the planet CDR. Is that correct, right?
Yeah, we're basically going there specifically for wide beam, and that's kind of it. And we're going to be opening or turning on generators throughout the area, and that's kind of all this place is useful for until we come back later.
Yeah, so we will not be here very long, but I remember when I was playing, I got stuck here the first time I was ever playing it casually, and I was streaming and I felt very embarrassed because there was a part I got stuck at. I was like, oh, well, all you have to do to get through it is just shoot through the floor. But Metroid, can be like that. It's very, tricky in that kind of way. There's a lot of stuff that's hides in plain sight, even in this game, definitely. But here we are, turning on the reactor. We're giving power back to the station. And, Dairon is a really interesting place on an artistic level, just because of how, look at all this machinery. It's very beautiful in sort of a very scary modernism kind of way.
Fun fact about those generators, there's actually 2 dogs on there at the bottom. So we have Catarus, which apparently the lava switches look like cats. I think we'll see one more lava switch, so you'll have another chance to see the cat. But once you see it, you can't unsee it, and these generators have dogs on them.
So, something to point out is that now that Rain has the wide beam, he is able to open wide beam doors and push wide beam blocks. And these are notorious for tripping up a lot of speedrunners, especially like early beginning speedrunners, because you have to be, and this is rather annoying, but you have to be at sort of a perfect horizontal level to open them. They do not like being shot at angles.
Yeah, I stop. I just do like a short pause before shooting, just to try to ensure it. Otherwise, even if you do that, sometimes it'll still miss. It's ridiculous. But even though I went through Dairon pretty nonchalantly, beginning out, that you die a lot in Dairon. It is this game is very dangerous to casual runners.
Right. And one of the things that makes Dairon so dangerous is the yellow Emmy, which we will be talking more about the yellow Emmy later. Yeah, we've not seen the last of the yellow Emmy.
Yeah, we kind of just saw him, and then he just said bye. I'm not entirely sure why, but I guess this is now the instilled dread. And there's the green Emmy.
Yeah, so now we're dealing with the green Emmy.
So this green Emmy has something we want, and to take it, we gotta kill him again.
Yeah. So right here, Rain is taking out the brain, the Emmy's brain, which eerily looks a little bit like it implies some connection to Mother Brain from Super Metroid. At least, you know, at most on an artistic level, but or at least on an artistic level. But so Rain is about to fight the green Emmy, and he does have a quick kill, which he is proficient in. We are about to see it right here. And notice that Rain is hiding on the other side of the...
Well, that's new. I thought I broke it already. Oh well. Luckily, we're just like right there again.
Right. Emmys are very dangerous. They have 2 attacks when they catch you. The first one is easier to counter than the second one. The second one is much harder to counter. So you notice that Rain is hiding on the other side of a wall right here. And there he goes. The Emmy's down. So
that kill looks scarier than it is. The main reason why I died there is because I thought... when it goes over that ledge, no matter how broken that plate is, it'll only break once it's over that ledge. So I assumed it broke already because it was like fully heated. But I guess no.
Well, you know, that's speedrun luck right there, right?
Yeah, it's only in marathons, you know.
Yeah, marathon luck.
Well, what's funny about that Emmy is I have a clip of me failing that quick kill and then attempting to jump over it after her faceplate broke, and it like just standing up and me getting basically I hit the Emmy. I hit his aura and it grabbed me.
Yeah, so the Emmys are very
they're very mean.
They're very mean robotic boys. But so right now, Samus has stepped into a teleporter pad, and we are now that we have taken the green Emmy out, we are armed with Morph Ball, which if you're playing casually, might feel like it's you're very far into the game by the time you get Morph Ball. I remember feeling that way the first time I played it casually, that Morph Ball felt like so far back into the game. But if you know what you're doing, of course, it doesn't feel like that. But
I mean, it still feels like that. This Morph Ball is... I don't know why it's so far away.
So now we find ourselves in Arteria again, and our current goal, where we're headed right now, is that we want to get to the various...
Oh yeah, last chance to see the cat.
Last chance to see the cat, everybody. Everybody give out a little meow for the cat.
Put it in his mouth.
So we're, for some reason, this area blows up right here. I guess it wouldn't be Dread, if, some scares didn't happen here and there, right?
I think this is just foreshadowing.
Yeah. And, on an artistic level, Metroid Dread is actually very proficient at foreshadowing. And I can point stuff out like that later. But we have gotten various suit now, which I, would like to say is Rain's favorite suit in the game.
This suit is amazing. I love this suit.
I'm a little bit more partial to the gravity, but from an artistic level. But
Anybody who likes the power suit, I don't understand. It is ugly.
So now that we have Varia, we have a tremendous advantage in getting through lava areas, like the area that we went through earlier when we were on our hell run portion of the game, trying to get through that lava area. But now we are immune to extreme heat-related temperatures. We will no longer take damage every second from being in a dangerous area like that.
Now, so normally in NMG or any other category, we would be going to kill Kraid now. But this is going to be very awkward and very weird, but we're not going to go do that.
Yeah, so if you're familiar with any other categories of Metroid Dread speedrunning, this is going to start to look very confusing. We are going to be going a roundabout way, through a detour, through backtracking, to get all these different items just before Kraid.
Yeah, we're gonna get like three items for Kraid. We're gonna get Flash Shift, Grapple, and Flash Shift. Did I say Flash Shift twice?
You said Flash You said Flash Shift twice.
Oh, Bombs, Flash Shift, and Grapple.
Right. And apparently I can't say Flash Shift without slurring, but like my words. But so we're going through Catarus right now. And, it's a lot of, the movement is very fast. We're trying to get through these areas as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's definitely, if we get Flash Shift technically earlier than you would get it normally. But once you get Flash Shift, the movement really kind of explodes, and the nuances and difficulty really ramps up for it, and then it ramps up even more with Speed Booster. So real soon we're gonna essentially the run starts. Weirdly, but it's like 40 minutes in.
And Metroid Dread is very fast when it comes to movement, and it's gonna start to look really wild and really cool. And I have to admit, it's that kind of movement, at the pace of Metroid Dread is very exciting. And so we are, backtracking to backtrack again. So we're in, this is our second go around in Dairon, and we've got some complicated stuff that we're doing here.
Yeah, we're going to be doing early grapple. We're going to be doing... This is very much intended, is used in basically every single route, where we basically just abuse coyote jumps. Let me concentrate real quick. I don't want to fall here.
I'll take it from here. So what Rain was doing there is something that was very difficult. It is called a coyote jump, and it looks very easy, but it is not easy.
It is extremely punishing. Like,
yes.
Like for a beginner, it's like, oh yeah, it's really easy. The first one, you could fall like 3, maybe 4 times if you're fast enough. But that second one, if I fell there, in any other category, we would have went to the purple teleporter, which is like 2 rooms away. But in MS%, if you fall there, you end up at the tram.
Right. And that's a significant time loss. And the coyote jump is very difficult. You're basically, sliding at mid-air and then jumping during that slide. It's very stressful. And obviously, it's like Lane said, it's very punishing. Metroid Dread does not tolerate mistakes.
Yeah, the coyote jump is really weird to get used to, but once it clicks, it becomes like very second nature. I've actually used it like several times in this entire run. It's just like one of the basic movement techs you gotta get used to, like ledge grabbing in SM. Wait, no, not ledge grabbing. Wait, yeah, ledge grabbing, right?
Yeah. So we just went through Arteria again just to get grapple, and now we're already leaving it again. So like Rain and I were saying earlier, we are currently backtracking on a detour to backtrack on a detour, and eventually getting back around to...
Yeah, eventually we'll kill Kraid. eventually.
Eventually, but we want to just, chill here with Samus for a little while and, just sort of explore and, just break the game's routing a little bit.
I love Samus. She looks so good.
She's very amazing.
So now we just go back through this area. We're gonna go get bombs. In other categories, we'd be doing this after Kraid. And this is our first, or our second look at the yellow Emmy.
And we just passed an Adam room, so everybody say bye to Adam. Yes, and that was, we got through the yellow Emmy room very quickly.
Yeah, you gave me a good spawn. Yeah, that's the best spawn, the no spawn.
Right. And fun fact there, in that tank back there, we barely got to see it, but it's a little reference to Dragon from Super Metroid.
Is it? I'm pretty sure it's Dragon. It might be the one from Metroid Prime. I don't remember what it's called. It was probably Dragon. It looks like Dragon.
Yeah, like Dragon just like laying over. But again, that's more foreshadowing when we're talking about like the game's lore and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden lore and stuff like that in this game. It's very Dark Souls-esque. The issue is it doesn't go beyond that, like Dark Souls. Like if you dig deep in Dark Souls, you'll find a lot of stuff. But you dig deep in Dread, you hit a brick wall.
Well, it's very implied, I would say.
Yeah.
But, much like an art house horror film, it doesn't explain itself. Again, we just had some more foreshadowing there with a boss that we will see later. So we just picked up bombs, and if you're wondering, like, wow, bombs sure came late. Yes, they did. It certainly feels like that.
Technically, it's early.
Technically, Rain is right. Yeah, technically it's actually early. In a casual run, we would have picked those bombs up even later. So now we're dealing with a lot of we're dealing with some water here a little bit. Samus doesn't have to deal with a lot of water yet. And I'm sure you guys noticed that water is very slow. We'll be dealing with that. Movement in water is very slow. We'll be dealing with that later though. But we are headed to Verinia right now. And there is a lot of stuff that we're doing in Verinia. There's a lot of
We'll be opening up some paths to get the speed booster, but we're mainly here to get the flash shift. And then, the movement really starts, and then we head back to Kraid, all the way in, I forgot, Cataris. And by doing a lot of stuff in Verinia, that stuff is basically flash shift. But flash shift is like one of our most important tools that we have at our disposal with Metroid Dread. Hi, Adam. Bye, Adam.
Bye, Adam. And we could talk. We'll probably talk. We'll talk about the technical aspects of flash shift a little bit later, especially when we have it speed boosts as well, and we can compare the two. But flash shift is like one of our mobility items, and it's very important to how we get around in the game in the fastest way.
I wish I could show off the backdoor flash, but I suck at infinite bomb jumps.
Backdoor flash is a very difficult trick. It does save 8 seconds, but it's very challenging. And again, Metroid Dread does not tolerate it does not tolerate mistakes of any kind. So we have just picked up the flash shift, which we mentioned earlier, and the flash shift will allow Samus, as you can see, to it looks like she's sort of phasing out of reality and sort of skipping forward in a defined amount of space. And flash shift is a very technical item too. It does not look like it. It does not look like it is, but it is, especially if you are going to use it in its most in the most efficient way possible. It's a very timed item. And it has its own meter, the yellow meter below the health bar. That will drain. That will drain when you use the flash shift. And obviously, we need to make sure that we use our flash shift correctly, so we don't run out of that our energy to do so, or to use it. Because if we don't use it correctly, we could get in trouble later.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with flash shift that doesn't seem apparent, but you can get it caught on a lot of stuff. It doesn't go through enemies. If you flash shifting air is a little bit farther, the same speed, but that does matter in some stuff, especially for measuring distance. Doors, you can flash, basically face plant into a door with flash shift. It's a lot of nuance and stuff like that, and you can like single wall climb with flash shift. It's a lot of nuance in one ability, and it really makes the game what it is. But I would prefer Speed Booster being better. Any good spawns? Nope. Oh my god. Hopefully I don't die.
So right now we are back in Speedrun again, and Rain has the very difficult task of trying to get through here safely while avoiding the yellow Emmy. The yellow Emmy is probably the most dangerous one in the game, because that is the Emmy that is the fastest Emmy in the game. And luckily Rain has been getting through it okay, even though Rain, you did have a bad spawn, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty bad spawn. I took it safer than normal. I would usually cut the cloak off early, but this is a marathon, so I didn't want to do that.
And I'd like to point out too that Rain has been definitely getting the short end of the stick when it comes to luck on where enemies spawn. Ooh, that was okay. That could have been bad, but luckily Rain was able to save it. That was one of the coyote jumps that we mentioned earlier. And remember, a failed coyote jump, you fall in the lava and you will die. But Rain was able to save it.
I tried to flash it, but it didn't come out. I don't know why. But yeah, that's just... There are ways around it. You can even deboost that coyote jump with that fly at the bottom, and it is technically an optimal strat because of an item skip that we do in some categories, but luckily that doesn't play a part because that deboost is obnoxious. Yeah, so now where are we? We're back in Cataris. So now we're gonna go kill Kraid.
Yeah. So Kraid has just been chilling. Kraid's just been chilling for a while, probably wondering, where Samus is, because normally we would have already been there, but Samus, we wanted to go on a little adventure with her and get grapple bombs and flash earlier, and we are about to see the benefit of going off of the routing and doing that, and believe me, it is quite surprising.
Yeah, she's very much late for her appointment, to say the least.
Well, yeah, so Rain's just haven't been, just sitting around chilling, wondering where Samus is, and Kraid's got a little bit of a hard fight ahead of him. He doesn't even realize it. So Rain just has to hold on to his health and avoid falling into these lava pits. you notice how he uses flash shift to avoid falling into traps like the lava pits and stuff, and that's what we call like utilizing the flash shift in the best way that we can. So this is Kraid. I don't know how he's alive because I'm pretty sure he's very dead like a Super Metroid, but
I think it's a so what we can gather is it's a species because he does die in Zero Mission too.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So, let's, okay, so normally you'd have to, you know, fight all of these, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is different. This is not supposed to happen. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, well, Kraid's just dead.
Yeah, we gave him, you know, some Pepto for his lava troubles.
Right. Yeah, we had to make sure that Kraid got Pepto. We just... So I guess now Kraid is very satisfied. But normally what we would be doing is that we would be in a casual run or in other categories where we would not have access to bombs and things like that. But, you know, we would be having to ride that little... There's like a little... what would you call that thing? Like a like a little sliding wall on the left, and we would have to grab that and like, you know, slide up and like...
Yeah, you can do a single wall jump with Morphball. I did learn it, but I haven't been able to use it, and MS% doesn't use it. And you can actually just like make his stomach hurt, and then it'll bring down a magnet wall, and then we just basically shoot him in the face like a billion more times till he dies. But the beauty of MS% is we have bombs.
Yeah, we have bombs, so, you know, we could just lay a bomb in Kraid's belly button and, like, I mean, let's face it, nobody would want a bomb in their belly button, so, you know.
Yeah. What we're really doing is Stuffer PETA, because, you know, he was in prison, and now he's free. Forever.
So something that we, so now that we've left Kraid, we have got the diffusion beam. That's the item that we picked up there. And so now we're basically just like zooming through this game, and
he's still alive. I forgot.
Well, we've been zooming and pew-pewing and everything like that. But Rain has narrowly escaped death there. That was very close. And remember, the yellow Emmy is it is the most dangerous one in the game. And now we have the very difficult challenge of getting through this area and surviving the yellow Emmy. And as you can tell, you know, the yellow Emmy is difficult to avoid, and those Emmy sections, you know, they require a lot of like very precise movement, and in order to manipulate where the Emmy goes. And of course, at the same time, you have to hope for a good spawn, because the you know, it could spawn in an area that's bad for us.
Yeah, I was a little close. MS%, we kind of go through the same labyrinths. Like I can't even count how many times. So I thought we killed the Emmy already, but clearly he was very much alive.
Yeah, so earlier when I said Metroid Dread is very labyrinthine in its network, in the way that it's all the rooms in the map is constructed, it can be very easy to get lost, even if or to lose track of something. So earlier, you know, one thing that we keep talking about, an idea that we keep talking about, is backtracking and the backtracking and the backtracking, to go on a detour to backtrack to this other area to get this random item out of sequence. And that's sort of another thing that we're doing right now. We had a very short trip through Barinia, you know, long enough to at least make sure that we, you know, tickled Kraid's belly button. You know, that was a while back, but I had to make a joke.
So this right here is Like you saw, like that was like basically perfect spacing. That's what you want to do with flash shift as much as possible. It's just like it's very much just measuring it completely. And this room specifically, it seemed if I went any faster than that, that enemy would actually go to the right instead of the left where he went, and he would just basically hit me in the face. Oh my god, please.
Right, and that's another thing that we were talking about earlier. Like, it's incredibly important to know how the enemies work in terms of their movement. And, their pathing is, they choose the shortest path to you. So by manipulating your own movement and being aware of how it affects the enemy, you can trick it into going into certain directions or moving down a certain hallway or tunnel or something like that.
That was a really bad brain.
So right now, Rain is about to take out the yellow enemy, which is the most dangerous one in the game, and this is incredibly dangerous right here. A single missed shot right there will, if there was a single missed shot right there, that this yellow enemy, because it has speed booster, would have sped up and rushed Rain, and it could have ended in a kill for Samus, and that would have been very disastrous.
Yeah, it's easy to line up the shot and hit him, but the worse your aim, the faster he's gonna go off screen, and then things get very scary. Right. So it's a very difficult trick. I mean, it's a very difficult strat for especially beginners, and like Rain said, your aim has to really be on point. So for somebody like me, that's very difficult. So I'm sure that you guys have noticed something different now, which we have speed boots, which we picked up from the yellow Emmy. And this game is about to start getting very, very, very fast. And Speed Booster feels very great in this game, and you can do it just about anywhere, right, Rain? If there's enough room to get a speed booster, yeah, but oftentimes flash shift is faster, especially in horizontal distances. It's very ironic for speed booster.
Very ironic.
But it's definitely my favorite ability and what kept me running this game for a very long time. Speed booster is just so good, so fun, but the time save for it over how difficult it is to use is not. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Flash shift is too powerful of a tool.
Right, and I mentioned that earlier. Well-timed horizontal flash shifts are actually faster than speed boots, which is crazy because, like Rain said, this is the funnest that speed boots have ever been in a Metroid game. Okay, so now we find ourselves in this is Quiet Robe, and Quiet Robe is a very big boss for us.
Okay. You want to play nice?
So, so we have an opener for Quiet Robe, which involves a speed boot charge into him, and speed boot damage, if you charge it and then, fly into somebody, it has 3 different damage values, 100%, 50, or 0%, and for Quiet Robe and, like the Chozo Robos and stuff like that, it does 50% of its damage. That is correct, Rain, right?
Yeah. Robos luckily take 50%. Otherwise, that fight is obnoxious because those Robos take like 60 missiles.
Oh yeah. I did not complete. I completed a casual run not too long ago, and those Quiet Robe as well as the Chozo Robos are they're hard.
Yeah, the fun fact about, even though it does 50%, you don't see me parrying enemies much, because when you parry an enemy outside of Ravenbeak specifically, you do 40% less damage. So you basically get resources to do just the same amount of damage. And that applies surprisingly to Speed Booster, where he would, instead of two sparks, you actually do 3.
So Rain is on another Hell Run portion of the game, and he has successfully gotten through it. That area right there is very difficult for Rain because he does not have Gravity Suit, which protects from extreme cold. So going through that room, Rain is taking damage every single second for just being in there. And normally we don't, in a casual run or in another category of speedrunning, we don't go through that room at all. We are sequence breaking the game to get early super missiles, and Rain can get through these rooms so fast because he is utilizing the speed boots in a way where, and we call this trick speed keeping, where he is moving very fast through these rooms using the speed boots, and he is bouncing off of the walls and sort of like ricocheting in a way to where he keeps his speed without losing the charge. And that is very difficult to do. I have tried that. It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, it's that's one of the you get a few tries, but it's pretty dangerous to be sure. And you can very much do, actually, in a casual playthrough, if you want to do like if you want to get like 100%, generally that's one of the speed boosts you kind of have to do for an item. So it's like, if you want 100% the game, you kind of got to get good, basically.
Right. We got to get good. So right now, I'd like to point out that we did get super missiles. Super missiles are a little weird in this game. Yes, the super missiles are more powerful than the regular missiles, but they actually have a slower rate of fire. So in another strange twist of irony with Samus's weapons in this game, missiles actually do more DPS than the super missiles.
Oh, please.
So Rain is on another Hell Run right now, where he is trying very fast to get through these cold rooms. And he's successfully done it. And you notice how Rain is utilizing his speed boots, his speed keeping techniques, and his flash shifting to just get through these rooms as fast as possible. It's a combination of all 3 abilities. Okay, so right now we are we're just sort of detouring through the game again.
Yeah, we're very much on the right path now, so to speak, for a while. Well, for a while. We're gonna go kill Drog now at technically the intended way, and then you're supposed to get super missiles afterwards, but we have super missiles. So Drog is, like, he's not gonna be able to do much, to be said.
Right. Drog is very funny in Mercury Steam Percent, which is our category, and you guys will find out very quickly. I had a difficult time, as well as a lot of runners with Drog without super missiles. Drog is I think very complicated. So right here, Rain is doing something incredibly complicated, where he is he was using his speed keeping technique to just get through this area as fast as possible, and just sort of like bouncing off the wall, and just bouncing off the walls and just sort of like ricocheting all over the place.
You can actually keep that all the way to that ball spark. I usually don't miss it, but you know, marathon. Okay, whatever. I messed up. It's okay, just gotta do all this stuff and it's intended because it's fun. Now, what's funny about that speed keep is it looks fast. Flash shift is still just slightly faster.
So this is Drog, everybody, and I do appreciate all the menacing music notes in chat. Normally you would be feeling that tension and drama right now, because this is a very difficult boss that requires a lot of movement through water, which is very slow for Samus. But, well, Rain is about to break the game here. Or at least break this boss.
Yeah, as a speedrunner, this fight is very much not threatening in the slightest. Even without Super Missile, you just shoot him a bunch of missiles. It's just slightly more dangerous.
Right. I think that the thing with Draug, is that the longer that you keep him alive, the more dangerous that it gets. Okay, so Rain was able to save that. Rain was able to save that. And you notice how he's just using his flash shift to just jump right over obstacles and pitfalls and things like that. So yeah.
We just broke 1K in donations.
Oh.
I feel so honored to have it happen during my stream.
So, actually, if you don't mind me sneaking in the donation that did it really fast while we're on an elevator.
Go ahead, please go ahead.
That was due to Heaven's Blade with a $100 donation. We had no comment.
God.
Thank you so much for your generosity. We really appreciate it.
Heaven's Blade. That is so.
Dude, that's amazing.
Thank you. That is so kind of you. Thank you, Heaven's Blade. So right now,
we'll go through everything.
We are in Gavoren, and the routing here looks a little different, and that's than what you might see in other categories, and that's because we already have super missiles. So we are fighting another Chozo Robo here, and Rain utilized a speed boot charge against the boss and charging it in the room, in the previous room, which is a very short span of distance in order to do that. So yeah, and you can see how it makes quick work of the mini boss there. So Rain is just going right through all of these rooms. There was an Adam room, but Adam's not here right now, so just everybody say goodbye to Adam, because he's not bothering us right now.
That's actually a very important Adam, because before he would talk to us, and he would talk to us twice, but since he doesn't talk to us, it also enables a very cool speed booster later.
Alright, so we are traveling from Gavoren to a place that we haven't really been to yet, and this is this next place is called the Loon, and this is a very dangerous area potentially. There's also a lot of lore here. There's a lot of story here. So this is, you know, in a casual run, you know, if you were enjoying the story, you know, this is a very important section of the game. And on a mechanical level, there's a lot of speed tech here, and as you can see, Rain is just zooming through these rooms, utilizing the speed of the flash ship. And these rooms.
Oh my god.
And we have a boss coming up here, which we refer to as the Corrupted Warrior. And as you can see, we have a new enemy type here. These are sort of these black tar things. They're sort of like zombies.
Yeah, we call them inkies.
Yeah, inkies. They're sort of, you could say, like zombified versions of regular enemies. Of course, they're, you know, dangerous. And the more we progress into the game, the more damage enemies do to us. So if you notice, Rain, by those two pink ticks in the top left corner, Rain only has 2 energy pinks. That is not a lot of energy. There are enemies in this game that can, you know, do like a whole tank worth of damage, and even more than that. So Rain has Plasma Beam right now, and he is fighting the Corrupted Warrior boss. And one thing that Rain has to be incredibly careful with is keep does not want to get hit by any of the black sludge beams that this boss will shoot, because that will do a tremendous amount of damage. So Rain's flash points or chips have to be very on point, and as you can see, they were. Rain has acquired another energy tank, and he has gotten through that boss. And
no, I didn't get that energy tank.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. Okay.
No, this is after the third energy tank. I don't grab it anymore.
My bad.
Well, yeah, it's definitely that fight is pretty dangerous, especially if you do the speed boost. That speed boost looks very fast and extremely cool, and I love that speed boost a lot. It saves half a second over flash shift. Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, that speed boost is pretty difficult, and not a lot of runners do it for good reason, because it's literally half a second. But yeah, from here on, I'm gonna concentrate. So.
All right. Yeah. So this next part is incredibly important. This is one of the most difficult parts of the game. We are returning to Gavorn, and there's a lot of really cool speed tech here, but Rain is going to attempt to speed keep as much as possible. What he is trying to do is something called an early ice glitchless, and it is incredibly difficult. And so you saw him bouncing through that area, keeping his speed, and
oh no!
Oh, okay.
I jumped too low. That enemy kind of looks scary, and it is, but specific movements kind of ignore them. Oh no, this is not happening.
So Rain actually was able, the first time around, Rain was actually able to perform the movement effectively on the first half. It's just that that blue innie there caught him a little bit. So this is, like I said, this is an incredibly difficult trick. This whole section right here is a nightmare. But so what Rain is doing, he is charging a speed boot. He's bouncing off the wall. He has a very small little crack that he has to get through right there. In ball form. He has to do this in ball form, and if he hits a wall in the wrong way, he loses this speed energy right here. The speed keeping that we're talking about.
No!
And so here, as you can see, the goal, because we don't have gravity, we do not have the jumping item that allows us to get over that moat. We have to find another way to get over this moat right here. And the way that we have to do it is with a speed boot charge. And again, this is why this is one of the most difficult tricks in the entire game right here. If you were doing this casually, we would have a jumping item, which allows us to sort of like do a double jump through the water to get across that moat. We are saving time, ideally, by not grabbing that item. And
oh my god, this is rough. What's funny is I basically don't miss this often.
Yeah. So this is a common reset point for runners because the level of difficulty here. And the strat again is called the GI strat.
What are you doing there?
And as you can see, the blue innie, which could very well kill Rain, was right down there in that pool. So Rain was able to use the grappling beam to save himself. And we have the spark. We have stored the spark, and there we go. We got it. That is, without any of these items I mentioned earlier, that is the only way to get across that moat right there. So it is incredibly difficult. One of the most, if not the most difficult trick in the entire game.
Damn it.
And the blue innie is definitely being a punk to us right now. The blue innie hides the ice missiles, which is an item that we want to get from it. So something that we have to do here is manipulate the ice enemy's movement. And it's a little complicated to go through, but...
Oh well.
So, as you can see, the ice enemy is right there, and that is where we want him to be.
A little sketchy.
And again, you know, any missed shot here from Rain could put us in a lot of trouble, and luckily Rain is able to sink the shot.
Oh, I just wasted like 2 minutes there. That's a little rough. Oh man, I'm a little disappointed. I usually don't miss that GEI very much.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the most difficult trick in the entire game, and there is it's like I was saying earlier, Metroid Dread is incredibly punishing as a game. It is incredibly punishing as a game. It does not like it if you make mistakes, and it will let you know. So right now, we are just getting through this area right here. With the blue enemy gone, we now have ice missiles, which we need for other parts in the game. And as you can see, there's a little those are those little blue blocks right there. And those little blue blocks are only openable with Screw Attack, which is an item we will be getting later. Now, as you can see, Rain was able to speed keep across that gap right there in order to get through to here. And this is Early Gazuna. This is another boss. Early Gazuna, now for me, probably not for Rain, of course, but for me, Gazuna was an incredibly difficult boss for me. But as you can see, Rain made short work of Early Gazuna, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot of nuance in that fight.
Yeah, basically we manipulate them and hit them in very timed and certain ways to get 4 sparks on them. Each spark does 50% to them, so we can get 4 total in that. Well, technically 3 in that setup. He's got like 3 phases, 4 if you count the orb. So yeah, that's the quickest you're gonna. Ah, man. Okay, I'm just gonna have to do this.
So with Early Gazuna is gone. So right now, what Rain is doing is that he's just using his. We are getting across that moat, which we got across earlier. Or no, that was a different mode. I'm sorry. Okay, so
yeah, it's technically a moat.
Yeah, it's a moat. Yeah. So we're using a teleporter pad to get back to Barinia, and we are going into an area in Barinia that we have not been in before.
Yeah, this is the Aragozuna, and you're about to see Early Gravity. Is very much intended. It's actually one of the like top 7 speed techs for a casual playthrough. If you look into like the difficulty of it for like 100% items, it's one of the ones that they would categorize as difficult. But more on GEI, it is. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. It is definitely as difficult as it looks. It's probably one of the only speed boosters that are like that. It saves a minute and a half. Because not only do you skip spin boost, you also skip a Chozo warrior.
Right, and here you see, as we're getting through this area, Rain is utilizing his speed boots and he's using his flash shifter to just get through these areas as fast as possible. And this is all very practiced, very well timed, flash shifts and speed boot charges and stuff. So Rain's using plasma to open up these gaps right here, and using grapple, he breaks that, and that drops down, opening this area up down here. one of the reasons why we've, Rain mentioned this earlier, but one of the reasons why we're here in this underwater portion is we want Gravity Suit. Now, Gravity Suit is, like in all Metroid games, allows you to move through water without, you know, movement penalties and things like that. And another great thing about Gravity Suit is that Gravity Suit protects us from cold environments. Everybody say bye, Adam. That was an Adam room. Adam is doesn't want anything to do with us, and that's good because we don't like Adam. But yeah, gravity protects us from cold environments. So now we have all the temperature protection that we need with Varia and gravity. And again, this part of the game is where, you know, we need to be careful as speedrunners, because everything that could hit us will hit us like a truck. And as speedrunners, and this is not a 100% category, so we're not collecting every single item, but as speedrunners, we don't have a lot of health.
Yeah, so, I can basically take 2 if I'm lucky, depending on the hit. 3 hits from this upcoming boss.
Right, so we are in Frozen Ateria right now, and as we mentioned earlier, Ateria is frozen now, so we definitely need this protection. So, this right here is another Chozo Robo, and as you can see, he is shooting that black sludge, and we need to avoid that black sludge because, like Rain said, every hit right here, especially from that, is critical, and Rain makes very quick work.
I'm gonna focus during this.
Yeah, so, Rain is doing something right now that is incredibly difficult. This is called the Stairway to Heaven strat, and this, as you can see,
later.
Rain, okay, that's later. Okay, my bad. Yeah, so Rain is sort of... Let's see. Rain is bouncing around, he's using his speed keeping, he's using his speed boot charges, and, you know, this is where the game gets... It looks very uncontrollable, or at least it feels uncontrollable to the untrained hands or whatever. But Rain is making it look easy, and that's another thing about Metroid Dread speedrunning, is that it looks easy, but it's not. And if you compare that to Super Metroid, you know, Super Metroid does not look easy, and it's not.
Oh my god.
Right, I heard that groan there. I heard that groan. But Rain is definitely making this look incredibly easy for all of us here. But hours and hours and hours and hours and weeks and months of time have been poured into this in order to get all of that movement down in a way that, you know, Rain doesn't even have to think about it. It's habit, you know.
Oh yeah, there's a blob that shot like way back when come into play.
There was that, yeah, that blob that we talked about earlier. So we're still in Frozen Arteria here, and this is an item that we have not talked about yet, and you notice that Samus's bombs look a little bit different, and they're sort of like pushing her around. Well, they're sort of like projecting her into different directions and things like that. And this new bomb that we have doesn't have a lot of application except in a couple of areas in the game, and it is very important to the final boss. So what we have just gotten right here is Screw Attack, and because this is Mercury Steam %, we have gotten this early.
Yeah, it technically is early. We're supposed to grab this after Z57, but Mercury Steam %, we get this now.
Yeah, and Screw Attack is like one of my favorite items in the game, because honestly, it's like you can just like jump in.
Wait, I have to redo it actually.
Okay. You can just sort of like jump into enemies and, you know, you just kill them instantly. It's very fun. So as you can see there, Rain was doing something very difficult, which is bouncing around, speed keeping, and charging that spark, that speed boot spark, in order to utilize it. And that charge that you get on a speed boot, you know, it doesn't last forever. So Rain has to use his time wisely while he has that charged.
We can keep speed boost. This Stairway to Heaven. You know, I'll try one more time just because it's like really cool.
So this is another one of the most difficult strats in the game called Stairway to Heaven. Rain is...
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I basically keep speed all the way here. I'm not gonna like go through it.
Okay. It is incredibly difficult strat to pull off. It's an incredibly difficult strat to pull off. But it involves speed keeping, you know, charging your speed boot and jumping into a little hole, going through that little hole, and unmorphing and running up those platforms. You know, jumping and running up those platforms. So we've seen this area. This is a game that we saw earlier in the game that we were damage boosting through here to get up that slope. And because we have speed boot, we don't even need to do that anymore. We just store a charge and then we spark across.
Yeah, all those look really, really hard. I know it looks really easy, but those took me quite a while to get used to. Frozoterra is definitely like one of my favorite sections. That is the top route for this section. You can actually go to the bottom route and do basically from the red Chozo on again, but that's not very fun. And top route is just slightly faster. Some extra stuff about Speed Booster though is that I kind of forgot what I was gonna say about it. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
That's alright. So we're in Frozen Kateris right now, and remember, Kateris is sort of like the heater of ZDR. And ZDR is, of course, the name of the planet. And our goal right now is to unfreeze the planet. And this is Z57, and this is a difficult boss, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So basically me. There's a lot to think about in this fight. You have to avoid those laser blasts, you have to avoid that pink slime that it leaves on the floor, you have to avoid these slashes, you have to shoot its head and be aware of the Z-axis in this fight. When the boss's head is in the optimal position where you can shoot him. And so now what Rain has to do, the boss is to heal itself. And you can see he is, by absorbing the energy from the wall, and Rain is shooting the hands on the wall. And there is another way to do it that is far less optimal, which is with the storm missiles. And we don't have the storm missiles right now, but Rain is just that good where he just shoots the hands. He doesn't even need storm missiles.
Oh, I don't have... Ooh. Okay, this is going to be very sketchy.
Yeah, so, ideally what we want to do right there, after that horizontal section where those purple arcs are firing at us, we need to dodge those and store a speed boot charge and spark his head, and that would be the kill that we need. Unfortunately...
that's new. I've never actually killed him like that before.
Unfortunately, Rain missed the spark, but that's okay because Rain was able to... I think Rain was able to save it pretty quickly. Fun fact, in a casual run, or in most other categories, if not all, most other categories of the game, we will be leaving that room going south, going down and south, I'm not the same thing. But we would be going below that room to get Screw Attack. Well, we have sequence breaked the game because that's what we do in Mercury sequence. In Mercury Steam Percent, we sequence break the game. And because we've already done that, we leave that room going above it. And so now what we're doing is, with Z57 dead, which is a very, very difficult boss, we are backtracking again to require important items, and we are headed to Gavorin right now.
We're actually gonna go, we have... Yeah, we have everything now. We're gonna go to Hanabuya, and then we're gonna go to Ferenia. So we're technically in the end game now. Okay. This is technically where you're supposed to kill Gozuna, but he's already dead. So good thing I did that fight perfectly. That's any of these bosses look easy. Actually, that Z57, I've never actually had him be this scary before. But yeah, I'm surprised I missed that spark. I didn't even store the spark. That's how off I was.
Well, it's okay, Rain. It's marathon. Look, it always happens in marathons, you know?
Yeah.
So we're in Gavorn right now, and like Rain said, we are approaching the end game, or at least we're in the final phases of the game. So Gavorn is just sort of a little pit stop before we get to an area called Hanubia. And Hanubia is...
Oh, I got the speed boost, yeah! You don't know how hard it is to do that. That tunnel is like 2 or 3 tiles long, and I basically have to jump right out of the transition. It's not frame perfect, but that is the first time I've ever gotten that speed boost after like hundreds of tries. Having a marathon feels so good because I've never actually done that.
That's amazing. Yeah, Rain is a pro at this, y'all. Definitely do not underestimate Rain. So right now we are in an area called Hanubia, and we've gotten off the monorail, and we are going very fast through here. And we will not be spending a whole lot of time in Hanubia. Hanubia is, it's sort of, how would you put it, Rain? It's more like a pit stop on our journey to get somewhere else. I mean, it's important to the story of the game. I mean, there's lore here.
Yeah, this is, Hanubia doesn't serve much purpose outside of power bombs, and even power bombs doesn't serve much purpose. It's very much a boss rush area, and we'll be there pretty soon-ish, probably in like 5-6 minutes. We'll be back in Hanubia.
So now that we've got through Hanubia, we're just hanging out with Samus in the elevator.
Oh, these elevators, I wish we could speed up the elevators. These elevators are like 30 seconds long. If Dretch wasn't so fast and just like chock full of stuff to really go over, they'd be prime donation times. But this game is quick, and we have to be quick about it.
Right. Metroid Dread definitely demands speed. So now we're back here in Ferenia, and we have got some items that we're going to acquire here. If you were playing this game casually, you would have probably already gotten one of these items.
Fun fact, this is our first jump ability. I've had no hops this whole time.
Right, and if you were playing this game casually, you would have gotten the other hopping item, which
spin boost.
Spin boost. You would have gotten spin boost.
It was in that moat you talked about.
Right, the moat. Okay, so now that we have space jump, it allows us to, it's another mobility-based item. It allows us to, basically just hop around, and when you couple it with all your other mobility items, it allows us to get through this stuff even faster. So, right now, we have to work very hard to avoid the purple Emmy. The purple Emmy is also very dangerous. If Rain gets shot by the purple Emmy, which the purple Emmy can shoot through floors and walls, Rain will be stunned for a period of time.
Yes! Cross launch. It is not faster, but it is so funny.
So, we are here at another boss, Galonzo, correct, Rain?
No, that was Gozuna.
Right.
But yeah, he's dead.
He's already dead. anybody who knows me will know that I am terrible with names.
This was SQ, the giant crab we killed like way back when. That was Galonzo.
Thank you.
But apologize. Yeah, with Screw Attack, this boss is a joke.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why I say Screw Attack is my favorite item in the game. That is the SQ bug, and the SQ bug is basically an electric beetle that shoots you with lightning bolts. And
that was SQ Speed, one of the hardest speed techs in the game.
Yeah. So I was actually just about to get to that. We've moved on from SQ, but Rain was able to pull off something called the SQ Speed Boost, which, in all honesty, is another one of those incredibly difficult strats. Was that SQ Speed 2?
I missed 2, but okay. I got 1, which is the important one.
Yeah. So that is another one of the most difficult strats in the entire game, with the SQ Speed. And, it's a little hard to keep up with. As you can tell, it's as someone that plays this game, it's hard for me to keep up with because we've left it behind already. Yes, more speed.
That speed keep, you can actually speed keep it all the way to the Storm Missile, but only like one person has managed to ever do it, or 2. It is technically pretty perfect, but the boss park one I just did is actually pretty doable, and it saves a second because that morph tunnel is very long. No one goes for that trick. I'm the only one. B-Dog, one of the world record holders and runners, I think me and him are the only ones who actually got that speed tech and the second speed tech in an actual run ever. I don't think he goes for it anymore, because it's very difficult.
Yeah, it looks impossible. Ray was trying to, train me on it a little bit the other night, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, it looks easy, but it's very not, because the first entry in that room, those white blocks I shot out earlier, actually have extra collision on them for no apparent reason, which adds to the difficulty of it, and obviously if you miss it, you lose time. But I'm going to concentrate real quick.
Yeah, so what Rain is trying to do right here is he is trying to take out the purple enemy, and it is not as dangerous as it looks, but any wrong shot, any missed shot here could spell doom. And it is incredibly important here that we, as speedrunners, our movement is very precise, because however we move will affect how the enemy moves. So even you guys saw that Rain, when he fell down here, he did a little flash shift back. That is enough to, that right there, that action is enough to manipulate the enemy. Go ahead, Rain.
What happened was the thing. I think I was kind of that was a little that one was a little close.
Yeah, it's very tense. Metroid Dread, and we keep coming back to this idea that Metroid Dread is very punishing and does not tolerate mistakes. So that was a close call right there, and it's kind of hard to even describe how it was a close call. But
I was basically a quarter of a second away from it just touching me. I could have actually jumped over it, but I chose to stand my ground like a Chad and and like kind of commit to it, because it felt okay. But so there's an easier one that loses 2 seconds to it and is very much less dangerous and has a lot of leeway to it, and even that one is kind of fast, but that one's only 2 seconds faster than just going up and just killing the flash doors I flashed across. I mean, no, I sped across. So that kill only saves 4 seconds.
Petition to change that name of to the Chad strat.
Oh, it's very much a Chad strat.
So what we picked up from the cripple innie is the wave beam, and at this point we are so late into the game, but the wave beam is essentially just a it functions as a key, basically. allowing us to get through certain rooms. And the wave beam, of course, is very cool and allows us to shoot through floors and walls. But it's come so late in the game that basically it's mostly just a key for us. So Rain is fighting another boss here called the Red Chozo Warrior. And the Red Chozo Warrior has a shield, as you can see. And Rain is using the storm missiles.
Oh, I thought he jumped. Oh my god, it's been a while since I died to him. But I messed up the storm missiles there.
As you can see, it is very difficult. What Rain wants to do when the Red Chozo Warrior brings out his shield is that he wants to use the storm missiles to destroy that shield as quick as possible. And we were talking about earlier that the storm missiles don't have a lot of practical application in the game except for a few spots. This is one of those spots. And so Rain has destroyed the shield and done enough damage to initiate this scene. He's got counters and he has destroyed.
Gravity suit's so cool. I still like the Vario more, but this suit, out of all of Samus's suits, or the majority of them, just scream Juggernaut. You know.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, Samus is very, very cool in this game. I love.
If you play casually and you see the cutscene, she's basically Master Chief.
Oh yeah, my favorite cutscene of her is when she kills the first boss. I always forget that boss's name, but the one with the tail.
Corpius.
Corpius, yeah.
My favorite one is Kraid, because she very much just like very nonchalantly just avoids stuff and just chats it up.
The developers definitely went out of their way to show us that Samus is one of the biggest chats in the universe.
Fun fact, Samus actually talks in this.
She does, yeah. This is actually the first time that, if we disregard other M, this is the first time we've heard her voice, right?
Yeah, she says exactly 2 lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, a powerful woman as her doesn't need. She speaks with her laser cannon.
Yeah. She says like 5 words and then a syllable.
Samus does not need a lot of words. So Rain right here is at Gold Chozo, which is one of our final bosses. And as you can see, Gold Chozo does also use a shield. And Rain, there's a little added layer of difficulty here compared to the Red Chozo. And we've already seen Rain take care of that, but Rain is using the storm missiles to destroy the shield, and then Rain actually had to use the grapple hook in the fight to pull that shield off of the Gold Chozo. Which, you know, is definitely an added level of difficulty if you have trouble juggling items.
I didn't notice my missile count. This is kind of bad. I skipped a 10 missile pack because I didn't think I would need it. Because I always felt like I didn't need it, but I kind of need it. Like, actually, I kind of need it. I'm actually missing 6 missiles. So we're going up a Ravenbeak, and his second phase needs 50 missiles. I have 44.
Yeah, so
we're gonna see.
We're gonna see what happens. So I'd like to point out real quick that Ravenbeak is the final boss of the game. Spoiler alert. Ravenbeak considers, if we're talking about lore, Ravenbeak considers himself to be Samus's father. And so Ravenbeak is basically like an absentee, terrible dad that is trying to engineer their daughter to be a killing machine.
It's definitely Mighty Mashin time, Manny.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So this is the final boss of the game, and of course we're skipping all the cutscenes and everything, but Rain has a lot of complicated work ahead of him. So He is attempting to skip the gold phase of the fight, which he is doing right now, and it is incredibly difficult because he has to mash the laser button at 12 hertz, which unfortunately he was not able to pull off, but that's all right. Now, the gold phase is very difficult because you have to rely on counters. Casually, it's very hard to figure out what to do here because you have to rely on counters and not necessarily doing missile damage or laser damage to him. So this is the third phase. Rain has got, luckily because Rain's a pro, even though we weren't able to skip the gold phase, we were able to dispatch the gold phase very quickly. And so this is the third phase of the fight. So what Rain is trying to do here is that he is trying to manipulate, he is dodging and using the phase shift and trying to manipulate Ravenbeak's movement, especially on shots like right here. Do you see how Rain did that little quick dash and that melee attack, and it caused him to shoot the corner right next to Samus, pixels away. But there's a lot that goes into this fight, and there's a lot that I haven't mentioned yet, such as using cross bombs to do, and the cross bombs, if you do them correctly, has a potential of doing 4,800 damage, but, and so Rain has a possibility to do that, but of course since we're zooming through the game very fast, it's hard to keep up with everything.
Well, he's dead. Yeah, that was a little sketchy fight because I kind of missile weaved with wave beam to try to compensate for the missing missiles, and it kind of threw me off a lot. But the fight more or less went okay. Dang, I'm overestimating. Ugh, I feel bad. But yeah, it's a very complicated fight. It's definitely the best Metroid fight ever, I think, to be honest. It is such a good fight casually. It's fun. Very complicated. It was basically essentially a mess of a fight by most standards. But
yeah, it is a very, very fun fight casually.
But it went well. Actually, the RNG was amazing for that fight, but I couldn't utilize it because it was pretty bad. Fun fact, that cross-bomb strat is, that I used where I was doing 2 missiles cross-bomb is actually the fastest DPS method, and it was created by GSM Void, a Smash player, who was playing this just briefly. And actually, I think he's playing it now too, I think.
Right, and that's why we call it the Void Cross. So Rain is, it would not be a Metroid game if we did not blow up the planet, because that seems to be Samus's expert ability. It seems to be her profession of blowing up planets. So we see Rain, escaping here. He has 2 minutes to escape, and he is currently kamehamehing. Everything as fast as he can to get through here, utilizing movement, the laser beam, the speed keeping. You can see Rain was
Let's do this.
Bouncing off the walls again. Which by doing that, you can see earlier in the run, speed keeping, you're maintaining your momentum by bouncing off of the walls and not losing that speed charge.
Time, by the way. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I totally forgot about mentioning it. But yeah, that was MS%. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's definitely a very involved run. A lot of stuff happens. Even commentating it is speedy. But yeah, if you're thinking about running this game, I highly recommend it. Do some shout outs, like the Dread Discord. They're still putting in work for this run. The unrestricted run is now at 47 minutes, I believe, for a world record, and it could potentially go to sub 45. So work's still being done if you want to do a beginner route, I highly recommend this route. It's very fun. The bosses aren't that hard, and the movement is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Even though I got the important stuff, I believe, like SQ Speed 1. But everything else was kind of like I'm 5 minutes overestimated. I feel horrible about it.
Well, I can vouch for what Rain said, and that Metroid Dread is, and Mercury Steam % is a very, very fun category. The bosses in the game are incredibly difficult casually, so just to be able to go through sequence break the game and just defeat the bosses with very little effort. It almost feels like you're sort of pulling a fast one on the game. It feels very, it feels very powerful, and I like the feeling.
Oops. But yeah, that's thank you for having me and letting me do this run. I've been trying to get MS% into the event for a while. A lot more people need to run this category. It's super fun. Definitely one of the better showcases for a run that I could think of for glitchless anyways.
Yeah, thank you, Green Gaming, for having Rain and I on. I've Bastion Blue Succubus 87 and Rain VT.
Yeah, you can catch both of us at our streams. I generally stream in the morning. I'm trying to stream more at night. That's twitch.tv at rain_BT. I believe that's the link. It might just be Rain BT.
Rain_BT. And I also stream on Twitch too. I play this game, and I play a lot of Super Metroid, speedrunning that. And you can catch me at twitch.tv, Bastion_Blue_Succubus 87. My name is incredibly long and it has a lot of underscores in it. You can tell I was an emo kid in the 2000s.
One last thing. Obviously, there's like a billion tutorials for Dread at this point, which is great. But I have YouTube with basically everything you need to know about at least the NMG route. So be sure to check that out. I would love to see more people in the community, especially doing races. Yeah, we definitely need more of that.